It's VB MMA picks for UFC Fight Night. Vera versus Sandhagen coming to you this Saturday night, March 15th, from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. VB gonna have you here this week for 3 fights we're going to look at, including that main event, Vera versus Sandhagen, and 2 other fights. And you have a special guest with us this week. Joining us this week, VB Insidious Gorilla. Good to have him here on the show. VB, great card last week with the big UFC event. How'd it go?
Hello, guys. Yeah, last week we did it again, as they say. This,
Again,
yep,
another one.
yeah. This week, this year, every week was good. Um, the last UFC card of before this was 16 units, before that 15. This one was 3 or 4, but we'll take it. So right now we are on 10 card win streak, 10 UFC cards in a row, dating back to 2022's last card of the year, and these 9 cards of 2023. So let's go for the 11. And I have my big supporter inside as Gorilla here. This guy, one of the first VB supporters out there. So I'm glad to
An
have him on.
OG, Insidious Gorilla, an OG, huh?
Yeah,
Be-
for sure.
best move I ever made.
Great.
Yeah,
Break down 3 fights here. VB, 1 on the undercard, 2 on the main card. It's a fight night, so it's on ESPN Plus this Saturday night. With a pretty attractive main event, obviously, between Vera and Sandhagen. We'll get to that in just a moment. But we'll open up the show, VB, and let's get started with a fight fairly early in the card. This one will be between lightweights, but not unfamiliar guys at this point. A couple of guys who've been in there a few times. Manuel Torres, 13-2, the 27-year-old from Mexico, the Contender Series winner, won his UFC debut over Camacho last May. By a first-round knockout. He's facing Trey Ogden, a 33-year-old from Kansas City. He's 16-5, plenty of experience, but just 1-1 in the UFC. He had a Bellator fight way back, and also fought 3 or 4 fights in LFA, and also was in Fury. He's off a unanimous decision win over Zellhuber last September, VB, for his first victory. So what do you know about these lightweights, experienced but not in the top organization here?
yeah. So there are a few things with in this fight that are important. The first off, I think grappling advantage goes to Trey Ogden. That needs to be said. Trey has most of his wins by submission. And Torres' both losses are by submission. So that's the first thing that jumped, to me. I was like, oh, interesting. And also, you got to look at the people that submitted Torres. Like those guys are not really high level fighters. Like one is 10-9, and another one is 7-3. Really inexperienced guys, heel hook and knee bar. So this guy seems to be, ending up in some kind of weird positions on the ground most of the time. Even the fights he won, he was in some bad positions. He was getting hit a lot. So at the beginning of the week, like on Monday, basically, I was like, I don't know, like this fight may be close, but more tape I watch on Torres, more I don't like him. And Camacho fight actually was like his debut in the UFC. He looked good, I mean, but he got hit so many times. So that's not some world beater either. Camacho is, I think he's out of the UFC at this point, and like he hurt him. And then Torres hurt him and finished him. So I don't know. Trey looked pretty good in his last fight. Actually surprised a lot of people, including me, when he beat Zellhuber, who was undefeated 12-0 young guy. And Zellhuber was a huge favorite in that fight. And Trey actually upset him and won that fight pretty clearly. One side he was plus 320 underdog, and he looked very good in that fight, and actually didn't even wrestle that much. So fact that he was able to outstrike Zellhuber was really impressive, because usually I looked at him as a grappler. So that's maybe he's some new wrinkles in his game that people didn't expect, and he was able to get the win. And here again, he's fighting a guy who has really really low fight IQ on the ground, at least, and he makes a lot of mistakes on the ground. So if it gets there, Trey may finish this guy. So I can see Trey also winning decision. So it's like I don't need to overcomplicate things really, and I'm just gonna lean Trey Ogden as a dog, in this fight. And he's right now the betting side. I mean, he's getting bet right now. He's going down and down. So probably you should get on it right now if you want to bet him. Because by Saturday he may be close to like plus 110 or 115. So I think you should take him. And people are saying what I'm saying. I think because you can't overlook the fact that two low level fighters submitted Manuel Torres. So that can be overlooked. But also at the same time, he's a good striker. He has power. He has some attributes that can win him here. But when guy has grappling advantage and he's sizable dog and striking could be close as well, you gotta side with the dog. So um, let's hear from Gorilla. What you think?
So I pretty much agree with everything that VB said. Um, Torres, he's very heavy-handed, but he's either kill or be killed in there. Um, all but one of his wins have been in the first round, and the win that he got was a split decision. So he was slowing down, and Frank Camacho was teeing off on him. So. Um, I think that if Ogden can make it out of the first round, cardio starts to become an issue, and I think that the grappling of Ogden is going to give Torres a lot of trouble. So um, ultimately, I think that Ogden is either going to get a submission in the second or third round, or just win the second and third round if he gets out of the first. He's got really good jujitsu. Um, so yeah, at the dog money, it's got to be Ogden.
Yeah,
The,
I want to ask him about Ogden's chin. So far, what I've seen, he looks to be durable.
He's never been knocked out in 21 fights, so that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's
He's never been finished. I'm not sure if he's been submitted, but he's definitely never been knocked out.
yeah, that's right. He's been submitted a few times, but never stopped by strikes. Yeah, so
And the more that Torres, the I mean you could see his the striking technique breaking down over time with Camacho. He starts getting wild and aggressive, and he was slowing down. If Ogden can get him in the later rounds, I think that Trey, being a veteran that he is he's going to put the screws to the young kid.
yeah, you're right about Torres slowing down. Even in the first round, he was winging so heavy and so wild that he was missing some of those shots, and that was like 3 minutes in, and he started to slow down, but then he landed, and it was over. So you know what I mean?
He,
But
he
this
was
goes go on.
he was slowing down majorly until he got that finish.
Yeah, so yeah, everything so far, in my opinion, leans towards Ogden. even if it's pick him, I would lean towards the wrestler.
Well,
Like
yeah, BB, that's how I can point it out that, yes, in fact, one online book opened it, minus 250, and that was taken out immediately. And Ogden was even plus $2 or higher at one offshore online sports book. That was a rogue line. They got beat down, but everyone opened it about this price. That's why you got to get on BB's MMA picks long term packages. This thing got sent out, I believe, on Sunday night, if you will. I think is when we got it this week. So the line was pretty juicy still back then. But VB, I think the thing that might point out that the value is, well, maybe the value portion might be gone, but the play is still live because look at the total on the fight. I mean, that same online sports book, and so did another United States online offshore sports book, opened it at 2.5 over 15. And the 2.5 line, we have the 1.5 line listed on screen, but just to make the comparison at the 2.5, where it opened pretty much a pick 'em, maybe even shaded to the over. Now the total on the fight at 2.5 rounds is like under minus 175 or more. And the total at 1.5, which you see listed there, 1.5 over 25, opened, pretty much 1.5 over 50 or so. So not only do you have the line on the move for the underdog, but it's also moving lower, like Ogden can get a finish.
Yeah, his line's getting steamed.
yeah, and yeah, over under I don't know really because I can see Ogden getting late finish here, like really late finish, like third round, last few minutes. So I will
Is
lean
it an
1.5
explosive
over,
fight?
but
BB is a type of fight explosive, though, that's where Torres is still, will it be if we do see an ending? It would be an early ending by either guy. I know you're picking Ogden, but
yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
that total
if you look at
dropping.
if you look at it this way, Luke, so I think Torres is most of his win equity is in the first round. So he doesn't get the first round finish, he may be screwed. And Ogden can finish him in the second. I mean, honestly, he could. He could finish him late, third. It could be decision. But if I had to say, oh, this fight went under, I would say maybe Torres caught him early. You know.
Same. Same here. Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, that's our preview of one fight on the undercard. It's a 13 fight card, and there'll be 8 fights on that preliminary card before we move to the main card. And let's talk about this one next here with middleweights. And in this one, VB Chidi Njokuani, the 34-year-old from Dallas, now fighting out of Las Vegas. He's 22-8, plenty of experience, just 2-1 in the UFC. Had over a half a dozen fights in Bellator, and of course, he's a Contender Series winner as well. But he's off a loss by TKO in the second round to Rodriguez last September. It was a pretty good fight, but it snapped in Njokuani's 4-fight win streak. He's up against Albert Duraev, the 34-year-old from Las Vegas. Now the Russian is 15-4, 1-1 in the UFC. He's also a Contender Series winner, but he's coming off the loss to Buckley last June by TKO, guys. In this one, VB, who's going first?
Let the girls take this one.
All right. So Chidi Njokuani, I mean, he's got the best nickname in the game, Chidi Chidi Bang Bang. That's no deniability right there. But yeah, he's just a very big middleweight, 6'3", 80 inches reach. Duraev, I mean, he's given up 4 inches in the height. He's only 5'11". He's given up 5 inches in reach. And betting wise, you look at the numbers, and Chidi lands 4.2, 8 strikes per minute. Duraev just 2.191 strikes. Chidi has a 72% significant strike rating per minute. Duraev just 43. But when I don't, I don't, it's not, everything's not based on the numbers. And I've seen Chidi get controlled in RFA and LFC, but I think that's what he fought him for. But I've seen him get controlled before, and if nothing else, Duraev is he's a really scrappy Russian wrestler, and I can see him getting in on Chidi's legs and bringing this fight to the mat and just making it an ugly grind, just sticking to Chidi. And I think that Russian wrestling, you should never bet Donald Cerrone in big fights and never bet against a Russian wrestler against a striker. So I think the dog money here is on Albert, and I like that.
Yeah. Can I ask what you think about Shidi's winner career? What you think about his knockout? You know, if it comes, let's say he knocks him out. Do
I
you think it's early or late?
um I think I think that Chi can get the stoppage any point of the fight, but I think that if he gets it early. He because Duraev has shown a suspect chin. That's the one thing that worries me. If the odds were any different, I probably wouldn't even be interested in betting this fight at all. It's the odd line that makes me side with Duraev. But Chidi, he's got very big massive power, and he can starch Duraev at any moment in the fight, or just mangle his face through volume.
BB, Insidious Gorilla mentioned Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You're a young man. I'm not even sure you know what that is, but
He doesn't appreciate it, does he? He doesn't appreciate that nickname. It's from a movie.
that movie's as old as I am, VB. That's where he got the nickname just because it
I mean,
sounds good.
I appreciate his knockouts in the UFC though, so I think we're good. Yeah, I mean,
He
guy is really explosive. You know, I like this guy. I mean, anytime he fights, he's never boring. Let's be honest. You know, where when do you see this guy in a boring fight in Bellator in UFC? He fought in other promotions, and he always has really good fights. Most of the time, either he gets submitted or ground and bombed it, or he knocks somebody out.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
the
that
massive
Rodriguez.
red.
Mhm.
Sorry.
That Rodriguez fight was a good fight.
Yeah, that was a really good fight. But I was about to get into that fight right now. That fight, I bet Rodriguez. Freaking Rodriguez got like front kick in the whole forehead, and he got split up, busted open. I don't know how, doctor let it continue, honestly, but I'm glad he did. But the thing I didn't like in that fight was after one takedown, Chidi absolutely got exhausted, and he couldn't even move, and he stopped moving. He covered up, and ref stopped it. And I can't get that image out of my head when he gets taken down just once. He has no defense. He showed no heart really on the ground either. And he's a fighting, a guy who will take him down, guaranteed. Unless he gets knocked out before he gets to his legs. And now you're telling me Chidi is minus 185 in some, spots. Maybe now it's like less a little bit, but still, you can give me a striker with like maybe 7-8 minutes of cardio and tell me that he's gonna just run through Duraev. He could. Durev's all four losses are by knockout. and that's very concerning for me and for any Duraev better because his chin is not good. You know, he's been dropped, he's been finished, he's been knocked out. So that's a concern. But you're dealing with the numbers here, and numbers are forcing me to play Duraev because he has massive wrestling advantage. And not only his wrestling advantage, he has, in my opinion, people may disagree, but he has cardio advantage. You know, I think he can wrestle to 15 minutes. He can tough it out. I don't think Chidi can wrestle 15 minutes. You know, Rodriguez fight was, let's see, round two, 1 minute 27 seconds. There's 6 minutes. He had nothing left. You know, after 6 minutes. So and not like in the first round he wasn't winning the whole thing. He wasn't like controlling. He was controlling the whole first round. You know, it was just Rodriguez was able to just stay in there, and doctor helped him with staying in there because that cut was insane. One of the worst cuts in the history of the sport. So you know. And the second round comes out, and mentally, I think Chidi kind of checked out, but he thought he was over, for sure. And then Rodriguez is coming at you, and you think this guy's damaged, this guy's done, and Rodriguez is coming at you, throwing bombs, taking you down, beating you up. So he just broke in there. He got, the reason he kind of broke was because he was exhausted as well. He had nothing. So
I
Durant is gonna
have
get a lot of takedowns. Go ahead.
I have seen Chidi give up on himself multiple times, especially in the lower Bellator and Legacy. He has given up on himself, and this is the type of fight that could happen, that could make that happen again if he doesn't get that early stoppage.
Yeah, absolutely. In John Salter fight in Bellator, he basically got like destroyed on the ground, schooled. Rear naked choked in one round, And Duraev is more of you know, over the rounds. He has more later finishes than early. He has some early finishes too, but he has a lot of round two, round three, even round five finish. So I even though in the Kopilov fight he slowed down, you gotta realize Kopilov's takedown defense, in my opinion, is better than Chidi's. Chidi's takedown defense is not good. Like Rodriguez like tripped him with some BS like trip, and you know what I mean. Like he just fell down like a tree. I don't know, and then he was like completely gassed and ground opponent finished after like he was just not fighting back. Referee told him fight back, and he covered up, so he wanted out of there.
Yeah,
And then
he'll let you take over if you. I mean, he'll check out if he's not the hammer. He does not like being the nail.
great point. I agree.
All right, guys, great breakdown there of that one, and then a few more fights, including home coming in this fight tonight on this card will be interesting. I think everybody likes to see her. She's still third in the division and going up against Santos. But after that, we get into the main event. We'll get into the main event in just a moment between Vera and Sandhagen. All right, guys. Make sure that you follow VB MMA Picks on Twitter and get this week's fight card from VB. Yeah, just a couple of moves here on the show. And that last one, about a 20-cent move on Duraev. But that's why you want to get VB's card early and maybe get his long-term packages. Get these cards immediately when they're sent out by VB. Look, they're all profitable, and VB is going to give you the best position on the plays early on if you get that long-term package. If you wait till Friday, Saturday night, you're going to miss out on a lot of value. Yeah, VB's still coming through with the victories. You see it every week. All of his followers on Twitter, 19,000 Twitter followers, can't be wrong. When you follow VB MMA Picks, DM him on Twitter. You'll speak directly to VB through the DMs. VB doesn't have a customer service department. He is the customer service department. So get his package this week. You'll spend less on the refreshments for UFC Fight Night San Antonio, Vera versus Sandhagen, than you will on VB's fight package, especially if you get his long-term packages. I mean, it's basically the price of a pizza for 1 week, and you can negotiate with VB and offer him a back as you get a year, maybe even just a few months. Take these cards all the way through with VB. He's on a roll right now. You mentioned it, VB, the winning streak that you're on. So great job. And of course, you can follow VB MMA Picks on Twitter and his other plays also in the other promotions over there on MMA Tips. And also, you can contact him through Pick City. You see the information right there. But VB, this week, 15 plays. You said no updates probably, but very good card as the UFC returns to San Antonio for the first time in about 3.5 years.
Yeah, this week I think I'm done with the card. I did everything I wanted with this card. There's nothing really that really sticks out anymore. I'm gonna be looking at the weigh-ins because I just always do, but I don't think I will change anything really from there. So I'm locked in this week. So if you get it now, it's ready and it's gonna stay the same. And I love it when you say, it's cheaper than pizza and beer. But this time you said pizza and beer was cheaper than VB's card. But I guess pizza
Well,
got
I'm
more
upgrading
expensive.
my. I've been able to upgrade my pizza because of the
Yeah,
all the winning that we're doing with you right now, VB. So
yeah,
you're over
pizza. Nope.
19,000 followers right now.
Extra toppings.
All right, get VB's plays for this week. Every single card has been a profitable card this year, and you'll see the testimonials. VB didn't buy his followers. He's been doing this a long time, and VB and I have been together on the podcast here over a year now, probably a year and a half. It feels like VB. We've been talking about these fights. So another great card at UFC 286 with the profit and the good card that we had last week. So get with VB MMA Picks on Twitter for this week's fight card. 13 fights, 15 plays will be in action all night with VB on Saturday night, UFC Fight Night. Vera versus Sandhagen, and let's get into it, guys, and talk about it right now with the main event. This one was moved, VB, quite a while ago, but this one was kind of scheduled for February, and there was some movement there, undisclosed reasons, but we've seen some of the shuffling we've had of late with the cards. So these will be bantamweights, the number 3 and number 5 contenders. Number 3, Marlon Chito Vera, the Ecuadorian. He's from Irvine now, 20-7, 14-6 in the UFC's, won 4 straight, including that win over my hometown man, Dominic Cruz, in that 4th round KO last August in San Diego. He also had wins over Font, over Edgar, and over Grant since that loss to Aldo back in 2020. He's won 10 of his last 12 fights. VB going up against the number 5 contender, Corey Sandhagen. Both guys, 30 years old. Sandhagen, 18-4, 8-3 in the UFC. Snapped a 2-fight losing streak with that win over Song Yadong by TKO last September in that headliner here in Las Vegas. That, of course, was following that loss to Jan, the interim title bout, and a loss before that to Dillashaw. So what do we have here with these ranked contenders at bantamweight, guys?
Yeah, we have a really good fight here. I mean, I have made a lot of money betting these guys. Both of them, like last time I had Corey round 4, round 5 over Sangya Dog, plus 2,800 winner. It was pretty sweet. Marlon Vera, I'm pretty sure I bet Marlon Vera in like every fight, maybe, or maybe besides 1 or 2, maybe in every fight. I mean, I bet him against Cruz, I bet him against Rafat, I bet him against Edgar, I bet him against Grant, I bet him against Aldo, bet him against somebody, bet him against I mean, I bet him every time. So I have like pretty good win record on this guy. Win loss, 2 losses, I guess, and 7-8 wins. So I'm gonna talk about Corey now, and Corey made me a lot of money as well last time. Actually, we broke that fight down on our show, and it was
Yeah.
pretty spot on if you look back, remember? And it was really good fight, but Corey was just too much in my opinion, And then especially later, Sang never went 5 rounds before. Corey, did that few times, and he was able to take advantage, cut Sang up, and it was doctor stoppage. So it was a pretty good fight, but Corey kind of dominated that fight, and he was able to bounce back. And you know, now if you look at like statistics, like if you look at Marlon Vera, though, his volume is not bad, but it's not as good as Corey's, though. He looks for one perfect shot most of the time, and he gives up a lot of rounds. In that Dominic Cruz fight, he was down 2-1, and he was able to knock him out in the fourth round with a head kick. Even against Davy Grant, he lost the first round. Against Frankie Edgar, it was pretty close fight overall. Rob Font outlanded him, but he had the big moments, so he was able to win the decision. But you know, I think this guy is pretty dangerous first few rounds, but then you if you look at the way he's been winning, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of unreliable in a way. You know, I think Corey Sandhagen is a little bit too smart to get head kicked in the fourth round and knocked out. You know what I mean? Corey has really good chin. He's never been knocked out ever, and I don't think that Marlon is gonna be the first guy to knock him out. Honestly, you know what I mean? Like Marlon can definitely hurt him at some point, but I think his Corey is pretty smart, and he's gonna stay in this fight the whole time. And I think I'm gonna for the first time bet against Marlon Vera. And I don't want to do it, but it is what it is. I mean, when you have a guy who has more volume, and he's gonna throw more, and defensively is pretty you know reliable and responsible. I want to be on his side. And Marlon Vera can maybe catch him, but if he doesn't, I think he's gonna lose the decision. So I'm gonna take Corey here at -160. I think there is still some value there because I honestly think Marlon Vera is knockout or bust. And it's not like Marlon Vera is gonna wrestle him or control him either. It's gonna be stand up fight for the most of this fight. Maybe there's gonna be some jiu-jitsu exchanges here and there, but I don't think anybody's gonna top. So I'm gonna take Corey by decision. I think it's pretty cool play and it's pretty likely to happen. And I think Corey's gonna get his second win in a row here. Let's see if Corey agrees.
So I really wanted to argue with VB tonight, but honestly, I can't here. It's this is a pretty easy read. Um, Vera, he's very hittable. In recent fights, like VB said, he was losing up until the moment he wasn't. He was losing to a past his prime Frankie Edgar, to shop-worn Dominic Cruz. He caught Dominic in the fourth round, or if that fight was anything other than a main event, Dominic Cruz wins a 3-round fight, and yeah, Dominic Cruz is way past his prime. Rob Font, he was doubling up on Cheeto on the numbers. I think he landed like 271 strikes on Cheeto. Cheeto just chewed his face up. It's the power that comes back from Vera. Um, but I can't trust him to do that against someone as athletic and elusive as Corey Sandhagen. And Corey puts out a ton of volume. Uh, in context, Nate Diaz, he lands 4.5 strikes per minute. Corey Sandhagen lands over 6 strikes. Um, I think that the minute winner here is going to be Sandhagen, and unless he gets caught with something silly in rounds 4 and 5, I think that it plays out very similar to Vera versus Cruz. Besides the fact that Sandhagen isn't going to get taken off his feet, and flatlined like Dominic did. So yeah, Sandhagen by decision. That's what I have, and I think that at minus 160, it's a steal really on the money line. And I love the decision though.
Do you think who, in your opinion, who is, I asked this question to a lot of people, and I've been asked this question this week. Who is more likely if it happens, right? Who is more likely to get submission, in your opinion?
I think Vera would be the more likely to get a submission. I could see Corey making a mistake, um, shooting in a blast double, and then Marlon catches him in a guillotine, probably.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. They're pricing, Vera submission plus 650, 700. Sandhagen submission is around 900, 950. So bookies
I
agree
don't
with you there.
I don't see Sandhagen getting a submission or even really trying to get a submission on Vera unless it's a club and sub.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Vera is more of a finisher in this fight, and I would lean towards him. If this fight gets finished, gun to my head who finished it, I would say Vera. So, um, line is kind of getting, as we speak right now, is getting bet on Corey. You can get 165 on BetMGM right now, which is basically what we have here. But by fight night, this is gonna go up to 200 range, in my opinion, and rightfully
Absolutely,
so. So
yeah, absolutely. It's going to keep getting worse. I mean, if you're on Sandhagen, you got to bet it now because that line's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse up till the moment it starts.
The VB Gorilla mentioned the total and the chances of it going the distance that he liked. This total has moved up. I mean, it opened at some books 4.5, slightly juiced to the over, but now we're seeing it at 4.5 over minus 150 at most books. So the money's coming in certainly on the over.
I mean, I think people are betting Sandhagen by decision here, and that's right. That right there is actually moving the over line.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, honestly, if I was betting Vera, I would probably bet the under. You know what I mean? Like it covers you both ways. It's almost the same as Vera money line. You know what I mean? Like 4.5 under plus 125, Vera money line plus 145. It's like,
Absolutely, that's a no-brainer.
yep. So, do you want to really risk Vera? Let's see, Vera gets like cut up or knocked out by flying knee or something. You know what I mean? It's an MMA. It's crazy. This sport is, we know, like unpredictable. Basically, 20 cents is gonna save you both ways, in my opinion, because I just don't see Vera winning decision. It has to be almost identical fight as Rap Font was, and that fight was pretty hard to duplicate, in my opinion, because he had such a crazy moments in that fight where Ram Fat face was just getting bashed. It was just crazy beating he took. He was like jabbing him the whole night, but he was hitting huge head kicks. I don't know how guys stayed conscious, but I mean, I don't know. I think Corey is too smart to eat that many head kicks, in one fight. He's never even been dropped that many times, maybe only 2, 3 times. So Rob Font got dropped 5 times in that fight. So you know what I mean? I don't think it's the same matchup here. Corey moves pretty well, and he has really good footwork, and he has decent fight IQ. One thing I don't like about him is sometimes some people control him against the fence, like Dillashaw controlled him against the fence quite a lot. He was able to kind of hold him there, but I don't know if Vera is gonna really, I
That,
don't
that's
know.
not that's not Vera's game though, is it, DB? I mean, to 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 try some Greco-Roman wrestling. I mean, that's just not Vera.
Yeah, I mean, not yeah, I can see
He
this
wants to
fight
hurt
being
you,
stand up.
right?
True, but he had kind of good moments against the fence over Andrew Uwell. Remember, against the fence, he was kind of pouring him in
Yeah,
there, and he
right.
had some moments there, but it was kind of different. He didn't really have his back. It was some front choke or something, and then he took him down. It was different. So I don't know. I think Sandhagen is gonna win maybe three, at least 4 rounds. 3 rounds is very least he's gonna take here. I think he takes round one, round two. He could take three, four, or five easily, either of them. So
I could see this being 50-45 for Sandhagen. I mean, to be honest, he's
yeah,
very he's just very elusive.
true. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be masterclass. It could be Sandhagen just dancing in there and Vera just chasing him, eating a lot of shots. So yeah, I agree with you. It could be one sided, but from Sandhagen, even if it's one sided, it's probably gonna be really hard for him to put away Vera. Vera's chin is crazy. But if it's one sided for Vera, Vera is probably gonna knock him out.
One
That's the
hundred
difference.
percent.
So we'll see. It's a really good fight though. Really good main event, and I'm really kind of grateful that this is not in Apex, which it was scheduled to be in the Apex, and now they moved this card to crowd, and I think it was a really good move from the UFC. This deserves crowd. So
I just wonder if it's going to be in the large ring or the large cage or the small cage. But that would make a difference also if I knew that.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be large,
That
but
makes a significant difference for people that's betting on Corey Sandhagen then.
yeah, because his footwork is gonna be um, bigger weapon for him.
Exactly.
All right, guys. VB, I know this one's on your card. I don't know if you want to mention anything about it, but thank you, Miles Spenceley, for your comments. VB, can you share any insight on the bout between, without giving away the fort here, Parsons and Giles? It's nearly a pick 'em.
I can give you a small breakdown. I mean, I can give you, Parsons probably has a resting advantage. Giles has, clear experience. Just more fights and more UFC fights, more bigger fights. That's all I can really give you. I have a strong bet on this fight, one of them, but Giles does a really good job. As I said, Parsons can wrestle, so I mean, I can give you much more than that, but it's a pick 'em, and I think it's off though. So we have to stick to three players this week.
You got it. And I'll let you know right now. It is a top-rated play for VB this week, and it's a pick 'em. So you don't know. Get the package from VB. Why not contact him on Twitter at VB MMA Picks for this weekend's card on Saturday, March 25th, from the AT&T Center in San Antonio. Fight night: Vera versus Sandhagen. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gorilla, for joining us. VB, great job. The world's #1 MMA handicapper. Follow VB MMA Picks on Twitter. Contact him through the DMs. That's the best way to do it. Get your package directly from the man himself. I don't know when he sleeps because he's got so many subscribers, but you know what? He really enjoys doing it. He really appreciates his fan base as well. So thanks, Gorilla. Thanks, VB. We'll catch you again next week with another VB MMA Picks.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thank you, man.